This is the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast, where we follow the journey of one man as he attempts to play America's 100 greatest golf courses in a single calendar year. Ted Fenton and Michael Higgins break down and plan the golfing adventure of a lifetime that is scheduled to tee off on January 1st, 2023. Each weekly episode takes you inside the ropes to two of America's 100 greatest golf courses. Please join us each week as we talk to head PGA professionals, industry leaders, and some of the luckiest golfers on earth. Let's join Teddy and Higgy now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Teddy Fenton, joined here with my oldest friend and high school golfing partner, Mr. Michael Higgins. How you doing this morning, Michael?
Teddy, I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Good to see you. We're back at it again. We've got a lot to talk about on this podcast episode, but we got a little bit of a curveball for you, which is going to shed a lot of light on what we're doing and what we're talking about on this podcast. Mike and I had a little powwow before this recording and just said, okay, we're talking about the top 100 courses in America, the greatest 100 courses in America, according to Golf Digest list. They put out the list every 2 years. They've been putting it out since 1966. And we started talking about well, who are these guys that actually do the rating, and what is the rating system, and is the club involved, and is there fees involved, and, what's the real inside scoop? And then all of a sudden, my good friend, Michael, God bless Michael Higgins, told me, hey, I've got this friend, Cory. Let's see if we can invite him on. So, Mike, why don't you take the rest of the story?
Well, thanks, Teddy. When you're a golfer, right? You get into golf, and when you start understanding golf course architecture and golf course maintenance, design, layout, and you start having an appreciation for golf courses, and you start looking at them with a keen eye. And then you say, okay, how do these golf courses get on the top 100? How do they get rated? How do they get noticed? Right. Well, there are many lists out there that top 100 in the world, top 100 in the United States, top 100 short courses, but we're going off the Golf Digest top 100 courses in the United States. And Golf Digest puts together a group of golf course raters that are throughout the country, and they play these golf courses, and they go through a process when they play these golf courses to come up with utilize the rating system to come up with a score. And Golf Digest will compile all of these different ratings from the different raters across the country, and that's how you see movement on the list year in year out. So I'm really excited to have one of those Golf Digest course raters on this podcast with us. His name is Cory Mansfield. He's the head PGA professional at Derryfield Country Club in Manchester, New Hampshire. He's on the New England PGA Board of Directors. He's been a past president and past board member of the New Hampshire chapter. He's an extremely involved PGA professional at his club, in his chapter, in his section. Cory, so excited to have you on here. How do you have time with everything you have going on in your life to also be a Golf Digest course rater? It's pretty impressive. But so first of all, welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm kind of lucky. My kids are older now, so I got my wife into golf, so I get to go play a little more golf than some of my friends do here and there. I had a member who kind of it's a team captain of the state. Each state has a captain for Golf Digest, and he invited me one day. He goes, you'd be a good candidate. They like to take relatively low handicappers, put them out on these golf courses, and we have a pretty intricate rating system to rate these golf courses for top 10 in state, best in state, and then the different categories. You have top public 100, top world 100, top 100 in the United States. We do, when a course comes and does a renovation, we can go back and rate it. So we get a list of courses every year that are actively seeking to be rated. And we go off that list. We'll contact our golf course and work out a time that's convenient for them and us to come and see the golf course. And that's kind of how I got started, kind of just by blind luck.
Yeah. So take us back to when you were approached by that member, right? The captain of the New Hampshire Golf Digest Raider team, if you will. I'm not
Correct.
sure if that's his official title. So he comes to you and says, Cory, I think you'd be good. And you said, well, okay, I'm sure you said, well, what does this entail? Right.
Yeah.
And then how do you talk to us about how you become?
So we go through an application process. The application, we fill an application. We talk about what we do for a job, which being a PGA professional actually did help. And we talk about courses that we played. And then he'll also recommend us. So then we go, if we get accepted, then we take a couple seminars. We go over the rating system, and it's a couple hour, probably 3 hour seminar that I had to go through, going over all the categories and how we rate. Then from there, they'll kind of go over it each year and tweak it a little bit. But we've pretty much gone by these 8 categories for the last 10 years that I've been on it.
Nice. If I were on Golf Digest rating team or the board that selects the raters, I'm again not sure what they're called, that governing body's called. But if I saw a PGA professional come across as one of the applicants, man, I would try to jump on that, right? I mean, someone who they're not out there just to play free golf, right? They're in the industry, they understand the game, they understand how to play the game, how to play a golf course, and have a keen eye to maybe see things on the golf course that an amateur golfer, maybe a beginner golfer might not look at, And I think that's great that you're involved.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that changed me, I mean, I've always been a competitor playing competitively on golf courses. And then one day I started doing this, and you look at it through the lens of the architect and what he intended, for just pin placements. When we get to the green complex, we'll look at the green complex and talk about where you might have placed some of those pins for a tournament day. We look how firm and fast the golf course is. If it's firm and fast, how would we play from a tournament situation? So I will say they do have one stipulation is you have to be, the handicap varies, but it's around a 6 handicap or below. So you have to be a better golfer. They want to see that person play from a tournament tee, not necessarily a U.S. Open tee. But if I'm playing Pebble Beach, I'd play from where they play the AT&T, that kind of thing. And then there's a lot of different variations that go through that.
Those are the big boy tees.
Those are the big boy tees. And then again, I play with my captain is a little bit older, so he doesn't play the back tees. He'll use me as a guinea pig, throw me on the back tee and say, go at it and play as best you can. And again, we're looking at shots into the fairway, shots from that point in the fairway to the green, how it looks. It's neat how you would think the architect wanted you to play that hole, and that's how you look at it. And then there's some other factors that go involved.
Well, it's kind of like you're trying to get in the mind of the architect, right? You're trying to
Correct.
say, okay, what was he thinking here on this hole? And I love that. And one of the stipulations, Cory, I'm not sure if you know this yet, but one of the stipulations in Ted's excursion is he is going to try to play the top 100 golf courses from the back tees, playing the ball down, everything in the hole. So
yeah. So we got to keep scores on that too.
I still don't think he knows.
Everybody's rolling their eyes already.
for good reason.
Well, I mean, I think it's a daunting quest, and I think it's a phenomenal quest. If you get to play all these courses, Ted, I think you're going to see the best of the best and get to enjoy some great tracks for sure.
I'm looking forward to the challenge. But Cory shared with Mike and I something that I don't think that we can share with you guys, but we can talk about it a little bit. It's an actual document from Golf Digest that they send to the panels. And Cory, you had mentioned 8 categories, and I'm looking at the 8 categories here. We've got shot options, challenge, layout variety, distinctiveness, aesthetics, conditioning, character, and then the last category is fun. Can you maybe kind of touch on those 8 categories and how they translate to when you're actually rating a course?
So, shot options. So, you play a daily fee course. If you go to a lower end course that we're not talking top 100, you might see a lot of holes go up, go back, go up, go back. And there's not a lot of options. They may not have much money to put even bunkers in there. There's not much variety. The one thing about shot options and challenge, and those are the 2 very big important categories in the whole rating. Those are the 2 top categories. It gives you different shot options, gives you different clubs. How many different clubs are you using into greens? Are you always hitting a driver and a wedge, or you're hitting a driver 6-iron into some? Or how are you even looking at par threes? Are there par threes that might be 150 yards and one that's 220, one that's 170? You have a variety, and that's what makes. I was telling you guys earlier, I played a golf course in Ocala that it's not even open, but it had the best collection of par threes I've ever played. It was called Adina, and it was owned by a horse guy. I guess he owned the Pimlico Raceway or something like that. When he built it, it's in a rock quarry. If anybody's ever played Black Diamond Ranch, which is another top course in Florida,
Yep.
It's similar to that. It's around a rock quarry. They had par threes from 170 to 240, and they were all around. They're all, some are elevated, some were hitting over a cliff, kind of like the 16th at Cypress Point. They had the most distinctive par threes I've ever seen, and it was the highest rated golf course I ever rated, and it's closed. So you just never know what you're going to get. I mean, in this day and age with golf being what it is, right now you didn't think anything would close, but it closed about 3 years ago before COVID hit. And it was a spectacular place. It was up in near Golden Ocala. I only had like 50 members. They had a guy come around and give you hot, cold scented towels so you could cool off. They had a concierge that came to you every 3 holes. It was the most unique place I've ever been to in my life. Again, conditioning is
Cory,
another big.
You should probably bring that up. I was going to say you should probably bring that up to the New England PGA tournament committee, that the staff should bring out cold scented towels during our tournament.
Yeah, there were lavender scented towels. I'll never forget it. And we were on the turn, and the guy comes out and makes sure we get them. And I'm like, "What are these? Why do they smell?" And he goes, "We just
Cory, you said it was lavender.
It was lavender, not
lavender.
No
lavender with essential oils is supposed to be very calming.
Well, you needed it. It was a good track. Yeah, you definitely needed it out there. It was crazy. It was a neat experience to play that place. I'm sad to see it close. I've been lucky enough to play some other top courses, so it's been great. It's been great to see them all.
So Cory, in those 8 categories, there, you're taking each one of those into account that Ted mentioned, but there are also 2 other things I noticed on the form that you fill out. You keep track of the clubs you used, I'm assuming, to be able to show the variety. Yep.
Yes, and show the variety.
Yep. And then wind. I thought that was pretty interesting. Elevation, wind, the type of grass.
Correct. And I will say we are supposed to rate it on the day we play, not to what we think the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach is looking like when they're playing it. We rate it on the day we play. So you're going to get some variations on some of the golf courses from us. We do have a guy. We do get rated. We get graded on our ratings, if you can believe that. At the end of the year, we get a scorecard on how we're doing.
A rated rater.
We get a rate. So they rate us as well. On that kind of thing, just in case that we don't have somebody playing a course after they aerate. Now, most courses, when we call them, won't obviously ask us to come right after they punch the greens or something like that. They will want us to play it on a good condition day. Hopefully they've mowed and whatnot, and then we go from there.
So obviously when you're say in Florida in the off season and trying to do your diligence here and rate a few golf courses down there, and you call up one and they for some reason said, "We'd love to have you, Cory. You open invitation. We just punched our greens, or we just punched our entire golf course 5 or 6 days ago." What do you do? Do you say, "Okay, I'll come back," or do you take that into account when you?
No, we'll come back. We definitely want to see the golf course in the condition it's meant to be in. So we try not to go in the off season or early spring up north or late fall when they've aerated. In the same in Florida. Usually Florida, I'm going in the winter when it's their prime season. So I'm seeing the golf course the way it's supposed to be played on a regular basis. Oakmont is a course that they have firm and fast all the time. So we're going to see it like it's going to be played. I'm lucky enough. I think I mentioned to you, I'm playing Pebble Beach next week. It's going to be in tournament condition, and they had the A&T a few weeks ago, so it'll be fun to see it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to be amazing. So, what is the highest rated golf course that you've rated? Pebble will probably be the highest after next week.
Yeah, Pebble. I think
until then,
Pebble I've rated Pebble once, and Pebble would be it's number 8 on the list. Pebble, Shadow Creek, I think it'd be the other one. But Pebble's number 8. I think Shadow's number 26. And then I've played a variety. I think I mentioned I played on the top 100, probably 15 to 20 of those courses. I haven't got up to Bandon Dunes yet, but I'd like to see that.
Well, you know what? Maybe if you're not doing anything the 1st through 4th of January, maybe Ted needs a 4th, and he's.
I do have to. Right now, I've my only partners are the 4 pros, so we do have some spots.
That'd be great. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, Cory, because I know you're a busy PGA professional. But if someone's listening to this and they say, you know what, I'm a 6 handicap, I want to do this. I'd love to go. And what if they take the angle like, hey, I just want some free golf, right? This is a way I can play golf courses all over the place. That's not what this is about, is it?
Correct. And that's the opposite. And that's where Golf Digest is really, they do their checks on us. The golf courses will call them if they get guys that are just calling to bring 3 guys on and go play. We try to go with other raters or by ourselves, and we'll ask just to play early. Sometimes they'll even send the assistant pro out with us, and we'll play with them so they can get their perspective on how they play from the back tee. And we'll go that route. It is definitely, it's a privilege to be a panelist. They call it being a panelist, and it's fun. I've learned a lot over the last 10 years that I've done this, and it's a great experience. I recommend it for anybody.
Now, in New Hampshire, where you're a panelist, any idea how many panelists there are? Is there a limitation on how many each state can have based on the state size? Maybe.
No, not necessarily. No, they don't do it. They do it geographically. Like New England would be more of a Northeast type of geographically. So they're always looking for panelists in different areas of the country. Yes, if we had too many, they would probably say, hey, we don't need any more in that area. But they're definitely
Sure.
available. You have to go through your team, your state captain, as they would call them. You find out who your state captain is and reach out to them, and then they can reach out to the guys in the editors of Golf Digest that are in charge of it.
Are there a minimum number of courses you're supposed to rate a year? Do you have a quota?
There's not a necessary quota that they give you an exact number, but they would love to see you. I mean, I do between 10 and 15 a year if I can. COVID, the last couple of years, I'm not going to lie, they hadn't put any restrictions on us for COVID years because it's been difficult to get to other golf courses. But if you're in that, we do
Sure.
with our grading, they'll say activity. That's part of our grade, is how many active courses that we go and look at.
Oh, that's great. Awesome. Well, I've got one more question for you. I know Teddy has one more for you as well. Can't thank you enough for being here. Now, I know you spoke about the golf course in Ocala as the highest golf course that you rated. I want to know what was your favorite of all the golf courses that you rated. Was that also your favorite as well, or is there another one that maybe you didn't rate as high but was your favorite?
Yeah, I would say that might have been one of my favorites, or I Spyglass or Pebble. Those two were up there. I mean, we've been lucky enough to play Shadow Creek a couple times in Vegas. I would say those are in my top 3. But Adena, it was a special course, and it was just a special experience. Unfortunately, I'll never see it again. Nobody will. It's a hayfield or a horse field, I guess. Right now, it's horse country. But other than that, that would probably be my top course.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks. Teddy?
Well, Cory, we can't thank you enough for joining us today. This has really, opened my eyes, and I hope has opened up the audience's eyes that are, following us along and trying to learn about these top 100 courses. The question that I have that, I'm curious. I'm right on the bubble. I'm playing to about a 6, and practicing every day, getting ready for this adventure. My hope is, obviously, if I'm practicing every day and regimented, I'll hopefully be under a 5 once I get going. Do you think it's feasible or even probable for a guy like me to become a rater, or maybe reach out to Golf Digest and say, hey, I'm making this attempt, even if I don't get to play all 100, I'm going to play a lot of them.
Yeah.
What would you suggest for a guy like me?
Definitely, I think it'd be you're a perfect candidate. You have the availability, sounds like, to get on, to go and play a lot of these golf courses. And that's a big task too. A lot of the times golf pros don't do it because we don't have a lot of time. I do it, luckily enough, on my off season. I used to be a ski instructor and I don't do that anymore. So I have a little time in the winter and I go rate in the winter. It sounds like you are definitely going to be available to do it. And your handicap is right in that range where you could definitely get away with playing those back tees, no matter what Mike says. And
he's always been just a little bit longer than me, just a tiny bit.
But I would reach out, try to reach out to it. Go on the Golf Digest website, look at, maybe find and I can help you with who your state captain is, and reach out to that captain and let him know what you're doing, and then they can help get you in touch with the right people. And I think it'd be a great way of you getting to see a lot of these golf courses.
Okay. Well, Cory, I'm going to take you up on that.
All right.
So hopefully you can lend a hand a little bit further, more so than you have today. And today is, holy smoke, my eyes are wide open. I don't know about you, Higgy, but I just want to end with the fun comment on this document. It says fun, and this is the last category. How enjoyable for all levels of golfers would this golf course be to play on a regular basis? So correct. My question is, when you're playing, are you out there with, a 10 or a 15 handicapper? Like, is that part of the group? Are you going out with, 4 pros and you guys are trying to tear it up?
I've done it with both. Like the gentleman I play with now is a little older, so he's not a scratch golfer anymore. So I kind of take a look at him while he's playing a little forward tee and see how much fun it is from them. Can they clear hazards? Do they have any chance of getting to the green from the tee they're playing? I'm lucky enough. My wife loves to play golf now. She's become a junkie. So we're playing Pebble on Sunday. I get to watch her from the ladies' tee and see how much fun it is for her. Now, if it's 40 degrees and snowing and raining, it might not be that much fun, but it sounds like it's going to be good weather for us to take a good look at the golf course. So I'm looking forward to see how she plays it. That's what I look through it through her eyes, to be honest with you, a lot of times. And that's the best on that category, especially. I look at it for a average golfer just going out there to see this great golf course, Pebble Beach. It's one of the most spectacular places on the world, and she gets to play it. So we'll see how it goes. I'll give you an update.
Well, okay. make sure you send us a picture from the 18th tee of the two.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will.
And I will. One thing I do want to make a comment on. I am jealous of your life, Cory. You're a golf professional, a PGA professional during the season, and then during the off season, you're on the slopes. Yes. That's my life. That's, my dream ideal life, as well as a very kind of a famous guy that I met a handful of times. He's passed away now. A gentleman by the name of Bob Einstein. Many of you may not know his name. He was hilarious stand-up comedian. He was Super Dave Osborne, if you remember those.
I remember that. Yeah.
And he was Marty Funkhauser on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And Bob said that his perfect day in California is getting up in the morning and hitting the slopes and going skiing and for like 3 or 4 hours, finishing up, getting in the car, driving a few hours, and then teeing off down at the bottom of the hill. He said that's my most perfect day, and he did it a bunch.
Well, I did it one time in Vermont. I did it at Okemo Mountain. We went to work. We skied 3 runs, and then Okemo was still open. I'm not sure how. It was like 40 degrees out. We played Okemo that same day. That's where I worked for 20 years. It was a neat experience to do that, and I won't forget.
Well, that's Marty Funk. Marty Funkhauser and Super Dave Osborne's most favorite day, Mr. Bob
That's
Einstein.
awesome.
Hey, Teddy, I'll tell you Teddy, one quick story here about Cory before we let him go. I played in a golf marathon where I tried to play 99 holes of golf in one day in 5 states.
Wow.
And I did it. I actually played 108 holes in
Yes,
5 states in one day. And one of the places in New Hampshire, the golf course in New Hampshire, was Montcalm, where Cory was the head pro at the time. And he joined me. I showed up. There were 2 golf carts ready. We each had our own cart. He took the governors off the golf cart, so they were going a little bit above the speed limit. And
what you and I used
Cory,
to do at Green Hill.
We played 18 holes, everything in the hole. It had to be 50 minutes, I think we played.
Yeah.
Something.
It was
something
50
crazy.
minutes.
50 minutes.
Wow.
We played 18 holes and then got in the car and made our way to Maine.
to try to, wait a minute. 50 minutes, 18 holes. Should we call Guinness Book of World Records? That's got to be close to some world record. 50 minutes, 18 holes.
We were running. We would hit. The cart was doing 30, and then we'd get to the ball and hit. And,
he's not lying. Exactly right. Hit and go.
Oh man, it was fun. But we raised a lot of money that day, and it was great to have you join me that day, Cory. You were a big reason we raised so much. So. Well, that's it here, man. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been great to have you. You're an awesome guest, and I think as we go around, as Teddy goes around his journey in 2023, and he starts talking about the golf courses, we may have to have you back on so you guys can compare notes.
Yeah,
definitely.
That'd be great, Cory, if you could join us again.
Great, I'd love to.
Great.
Thanks, and good luck, Ted.
I need all the help I can get, Cory. Thanks for being in my corner and coming on as a guest. We really appreciate your time. God bless you.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Cory. Enjoy Pebble. Take care.
This episode is sponsored by our friends at Coast to Coast Hole-in-One. Add some excitement to your next charity, corporate, or even member guest golf event by including a hole-in-one prize on all of the par 3s. Whether the prize is a new car, a golf vacation, cash, or even a new set of clubs, we have a prize option for every budget. So be sure to visit coasttocoastholein1.com and have their friendly staff help you enhance your next event with Hole-in-One Insurance. Coast to Coast Hole-in-One has you covered from coast to coast.
Okay, Mike. So that was amazing that we had an opportunity to talk with Cory. I'm so grateful that you made that call because that really shed a lot of light on how a course gets rated, what the criteria is, the rating system, how those guys get chosen. It was really eye-opening. But this podcast, we're going to continue to talk about the very first course of the top 100 that I'm going to attempt to play in 2023. And luckily, I have the very first tee time on January 1 on 2023 at 8 o'clock. And don't know who the other 2 players are, but right now it's on the tee sheet, myself and Mr. Jake Sestero, who has been the head PGA professional at Bandon Dunes for the last 9 years. And he's going to come on here shortly and join us. But Mike, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about Bandon Dunes and what we learned about this golf course, and then we'll bring Jake on.
Oh, absolutely. Teddy, unfortunately, I haven't personally been able to make it to Bandon Dunes yet, but I have so many friends in the business that have played there. They host a PGA of America Golf Professional of the Year conference out there. They've hosted many national events. They're great supporters of the game, and everyone who comes back just says this is the most magical golf resort that they've ever been a part of, they've ever experienced. And this is even after some of them that have had biblical rain and wind storms while they were playing as well. But just reading the clip on their website, I'll start with with that before we get going here. But Bandon Dunes began in 1999 with the opening of Bandon Dunes, designed by Scotsman David McClay Kidd. The course is perched on a bluff high above the Pacific Ocean. Bandon Dunes unfolds along pristine native dunes where expansive ocean views are revealed on nearly every hole. The course is completely natural and routed through an environment of indigenous vegetation. Beyond breathtaking scenery lies the game of golf in its truest form. It's a thinker's golf course. Winds are ever present, and the varying elements create a new experience each time you play. So it was founded in 1999. As I said, David McClay Kidd. It's a par 72 from the tips, Teddy, at 6,732 yards with a course rating of 74.1 and slopes 143. Just hearing these elements into play, I was looking in the course record is a 64, which was shot by Jordan Costello, which is pretty amazing round of golf. Anybody who knows me, I'm a big logo guy. I love logos. I've got a belt fetish everywhere I play. I try to buy a belt. I need another golf shirt like I need a hole in the head, but for some reason
he needs almost another closet just to keep all his belts. The guy's got over 100.
But I really love this the logo. It's a puffin logo. I'm sure everyone has seen it. It's pretty spectacular. Some of the events that Bandon has hosted U.S. Amateur in 2020, hosted a U.S. 4-ball. It's hosting the U.S. Junior Amateur this year, which is pretty amazing. 2025 U.S. Women's Ams on the books. 2029 Walker Cup is also on the schedule. So that's the scoop on Bandon Dunes real quick. But what I'm really excited about, Teddy, is we have your playing partner on January 1 with us, PGA professional Jake Sestero is joining us. Jake, thank you so very much for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it. Good to meet with you guys.
This is so great. So you've been there for nine seasons?
Yeah, I've been over 10, but head coach for the Bandon Dunes course for the past 9 years. Started out at Old McDonald, and then moved over to Bandon Dunes course, and so it's been a fun 10 years, seeing a lot of different changes and new courses, and just really on the cutting edge of the business. So it's pretty neat out here, all the things we have going on.
So when you get out of your car every morning when you get there, do you like stop for a second before you go in the clubhouse and just pinch yourself and say, man, this is my office every day. This is why I have to come to work every single day.
Yeah, it's unique because when you do come out, let's say in the morning, the sunrise comes up, it never gets old. And the sun sets out here, you see a lot of staff that have been here for a number of years, and they will consistently walk out and take pictures of the sunsets or something kind of going on that it's always an amazing kind of view, even though you've seen it 100 times before. Never gets old. Same thing on the golf course. You go out there and it's just it's not playing the same course over and over. It's almost like seeing it for the first time. It definitely has a unique feel to it.
Is there a favorite time of day to play the golf course? Do you have a favorite time to tee it up there?
I like I'd say 10 o'clock is kind of great because everything's kind of in motion. You have the wind will kind of start kind of showing itself. You have a little bit more of the elements. The temperature is up just a little bit. It kind of has that right feel, and the dew on the fairways kind of burns off a little bit from the wind. So you kind of start to get into that link style type shots that are needed to be played out here. So yeah, I like 10 o'clock is kind of the 10 to 2 are kind of my favorite times.
Is there a time when that wind switch turns on? I know there's a couple golf courses we have here in Massachusetts and in Rhode Island, right on the ocean. If you can play between 7 and 8:30, 9 o'clock, you've got some calm conditions, and then by 10 o'clock the wind's just howling. Do you have any? Are there any calm periods?
Yeah, so taking a look at the summers where we kind of get into our windy season, I'd say I mentioned it a lot. Someone will say, when are the winds supposed to pop up? And I always mention, right about 10 o'clock, we're going to start seeing something. Sometimes in the morning, in the winter when it's rain in the morning, it's supposed to stop in the afternoon. It always seems like it's kind of at 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock would be kind of that time frame that you start seeing the wind.
Yeah, get your front nine in, and then try to hit that knockdown shot on the back nine.
Yeah, get warmed up, and then the challenge begins. Yep.
I love it. So which events were you there for? The USGA events? Were you working there for when you hosted?
Yeah, here for the floorball championship that was played out at Old McDonald. Prior to that, in 2015, would have been the ladies floorball championship was the first USGA event that I was out for, and then the U.S. Amateur this last year. So I've been able to see three great tournaments, and all of them are fun, all of them are unique, and looking forward to the next ones coming up.
It seems like all of these are amateur events. I heard through the grapevine that Mr. Kaiser is a huge proponent and believer in amateur players. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, it's a kind of a great spot for the amateur play because they're championship courses. It allows for some great events from when it comes to match play to stroke play. So it sets up really well for a great championship. And on the PGA side or something like that, professional side, we're kind of a smaller town, so we don't have as many places for people to stay on a big scale. So the amateur play is kind of works out really well. And but yeah, it's been great to kind of promote that and get more and more kind of some of the younger players out here and some of the best players in the world and seeing their games on the links play.
One story I heard, Jake, that was pretty cool. It not only at Bandon Dunes, but all of the golf courses at the resort. Teddy's going to be playing the first round on January 1 with you, hopefully. But there's a neat story about a local family that played all of the first rounds at each one of the golf courses. I thought was pretty neat. It was owners of a mixed barbershop, a local barbershop in town. I just think that's a fun story. Do they are they members? They play quite a bit.
Yeah, they don't play as often, but that's kind of the neat thing. They're kind of the inaugural group that tees it up and has been that lead group of each course opening up. So it's kind of neat. I see them when I go to the barbershop to get my haircut. That when we have that course come up, I'll say, "Hey, are you guys ready for this?" And yeah, I'm going out to the range to kind of warm up and get a few shots in before going. And so it's been neat to have that tradition, and you always know who that lead group's going to be. So it's been fun over the years. And it's been they get questions and interviews, and people will call them from all sorts of different magazines to talk about it. So they're kind of some neat celebrities here in the area.
Local celebrities. So it's a grandfather, father, and is it two sons? Is that?
I believe I forget the relation, but yeah, it's kind of that those four players pretty neat to see.
And they
That's so cool.
Play golf in the morning, and they'll cut your hair in the afternoon. How good is that?
That's right. Oh yeah, they gotta get back to work.
Oh man, that's awesome. So Jake, I want to have our listeners get to know you a little bit. I've got some questions for you, and then we'll get back to the golf course. But talk to us about what was your first gig in the golf business? Where did it all begin for you?
Yeah, when I was about 14 years old, I worked at a golf course in southern Idaho in Idaho Falls called Sage Lakes Golf Course, municipal course. And really, I loved the game and wanted to get out there and play and practice as much as I could. So I started working there as cleaning carts, picking range balls, cleaning those, cleaning bathrooms, just being able to, and I'd get free range balls and get to play as much as I wanted. And so it was kind of great because you got to, that was kind of the goal, was wanting to work so that I could, play and practice. And that was such a huge benefit because have that access to play as much as often you can get kind of good quickly because you can spend I'd spend all day out there, get out there in the day or morning, practice, play, and then shoot over and do the work in the evening. So a lot of fun. I worked for a great professional, Galen Denning, who he was great. He really taught you a really good discipline on how to run an operation and what to expect and what to look for. And so he was fantastic. Definitely couldn't imagine starting out a different way.
Well, I'm sure you probably look back sometimes and probably say, but man, that was some of the best days of my life, right? Working in the bag room, picking the range.
Yeah, it was great because we would go out every Wednesday and Friday and play money games with the pros. And so when you're 14, 15 year olds old playing with 30 to 45-year-old guys, and you had to play hard. So it definitely taught you how to play competitive golf at a young age. That every shot counts. So it was couldn't replace that with anything else. Good experience.
Oh, that's great. By the end of the season, every year by October, after such a long year, I'll look at someone picking the range or someone riding the mower, and I'll just be like, man, if I could just trade places with them for an hour and just be able to get back to when I was in the bag room as a kid in high school, just to get back and shut it down for an hour. I miss those days. So it sounded like you had some time to practice. You took advantage of your opportunity working there. So did you turn that into an amateur career? Did you play golf in college?
I did. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to Boise State University, and we had a great squad there. A lot of good friends, and we got to play all over different parts of the country. Played some great. We're in the Western Athletic Conference, so that was. I got to get some of the best players. Nick Watney was at Fresno State my freshman year, and so getting to kind of see some of those players and kind of see them move up the ranks was fantastic. But another spot that wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Loved Boise State and going to all the different events and a great team to play with.
Did you get to putt on any blue putting greens?
So actually, kind of funny. My senior year, we had inside the stadium, we had a room that we put nets up, and that was our practice during the winter. So we'd go out and wait for our coach, Kevin Burton, to come and open the doors for us. So we'd go out in there and hit. So we'd be out on we call it the blue, around in the football field on the blue, and we'd pace off the yardages. So we knew exactly how much a yard was. We'd go on the hash marks and pull out our wedges, and we'd chip and putt on the blue. Back in the day before. Nowadays, I don't think you could do that. I think there would be probably security to kick you off of there. But that was back in the day when we'd go. Yeah, so we'd hit some shots off the blue. And actually, the mats that we hit inside the stadium was the old blue turf that they lined all of the offices with. So that's what we'd practice off of. We hit balls off of that turf into some nets. So it worked out really well.
Oh, that's cool.
pretty fun. Yeah, that's awesome. So after college, did you give it a go? Did you say I'm going to try to play professionally at all? Did you?
I wanted to. I wanted to kind of, for as much golf as you were playing, and you were kind of primed to get out there, probably at the peak of where you're going to be to try and get out. Played some. I want to kind of play some amateur events. Try and qualify for the USAM, Pub Links, and mid-ams, things like that, and then kind of see where my game was to go. And after a couple of years, I kind of realized, I said, I feel like I'm better at other things. I'm going to be, a little sharper in other areas. And a couple of the guys that I played on my team, I ended up playing on the PGA Tour, and I knew they were kind of a level above. And, so I knew if they were working to get out there, and, everybody has those different struggles kind of getting out there, that I knew that I might be just short on having a career out there. So decided to go a different route and stay in the business.
So at some point you realized and said, you know what, I'm thinking about, I want to be in the business. I want to work in the game of golf. Mm-hmm. At what point did you realize you wanted to get into the apprentice program at the time and become a PGA professional?
Yeah, I'd worked in the golf business for that since I was 14, and it was about 25 or so that I decided to turn professional and get into the business. And I started working in Boise at a course called Country Club for Ron Rawls, and one of the best golf professionals you'll ever come across. And he and just working for him kind of sparked, because I was looking at different things, saying, is golf the way I want to go? And he just the way he went about and ran a business and was a golf professional, it just kind of sparked my interest. So that's what I want to do. So and stuck with it ever since. So it's taken me all over the place, met unbelievable people, and another thing I wouldn't trade for anything.
Man, he sounds like he had a little influence on your career. That's pretty special.
Him for sure was he and Todd Binder both showed you what it meant to be a PGA professional, and they were fantastic. They were good guys to be around.
Awesome. Well, fast forward a little bit. Tell us a story about how you got hired at Bandon Dunes.
Yeah, I came out here in 2004 and played. I got to play golf with played golf with Jeff Simons when he had just gotten out here, and Jeff Simons is our assistant general manager, and so it was great to be able to play the courses and really see what the atmosphere was like out here, and it was kind of amazing that it's a different atmosphere, the smells, the temperature. I remember I had a golf shirt on and pants, and Jeff said, "You're not going to be warm enough. You need a few more layers." So went out there, and I knew that was a big difference. It was about 85 degrees in Coke Hill, and then drove in here, and it was 55. And so you saw that big change. It's only about 20 minutes away. So I got kind of to see what it was like out here, and I said, I'd love to get out there. And I came out in 2010, the winter of 2010, for a few months, and got to experience as an employee before I went back to work for the regular season back home. And then the old McDonald position popped up, and I applied for that and got offered that position and said, all right, I'm going. Packed up my car. Back in the day when you could just pack up your car, that's all you had, all you needed to get on the road, and been here ever since. So, been a fun journey.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I've seen it's called the PGA Professional badge ad, and it lists all of the different duties and skills of a PGA professional, from coach to mentor to player, whatever. It's true. There's so many different hats you all wear. But what is your favorite part about being the head PGA professional at Bandon Dunes? There's so many aspects to what you do day in and day out. But if you could put your finger on it, what would you say is your favorite part?
Mine would be the being around and working with the staff, having a great staff here that managing, working with them and getting them to seeing what they want to do in their careers and what they their interest out here, and so I'd say working with the staff is definitely my favorite on that side. If you broke it down and said what's your I get asked that from the interns. If I come out there to work, what's your favorite thing? And said just the staff is fantastic. So that's my favorite thing about being here. And the other one would be opportunities like this to get to sit and chat with everybody, and it's just kind of a different aspect of the business that you get to be a part of, where somewhere else you might not get to be able to be a part of. Everything kind of happens. So those two pieces are definitely my favorite.
I do want to say something about your staff. I've been up there twice, and it seemed like everyone was in a good mood. Everyone walking around was happy, content, jumping over each other to help. And that really, that's indication of what's at the top for my money. So just kudos to you guys and what you do.
Yeah. Thanks. The feedback's always great because everybody's so excited to help everybody out, from guests to other staff, and treating everybody really well. The small town, definitely the small town feel is in effect here.
So Jake, talk about. I'd like to go back to the construction a little bit, the creation of Bandon Dunes. Are there, any insider stories about the creation of the golf course? From the vision to pick the location, or what it was before, or something that few people may not know about.
Yeah, out here I think kind of a fun piece is you tee off on hole number 1, you play hole number 2 and 3, and sometimes if you have to start on the back 9, that's starting on number 10, you think, it'd be fun to start on 1, but really we tell everybody we get on hole number 12 at Bandon is the first hole that was built out here. So when you get out, even though you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, you kind of feel like you're playing in order. Actually, hole number 12 is the first hole built out here. So you always hear that when I'm out on the course, and I'll hear the caddies walk up and they'll say, "All right, we're on the first hole ever built here," and it's always on hole number 12. So it's kind of neat to think that, and par 3, tough par 3. Courses aren't built in order of 1, 2, 3. So that's something that people don't ask because you don't really kind of think about it. But hole 12.
So did they started there for any other reason than it's just its location, and then just worked their way out?
Yeah, it could have been just kind of a good starting point where we're kind of probably the where it's kind of located, and then just kind of gone from there. Not sure which. I'll have to ask David to see what the next hole was. I think that'd be a fun piece. See if it was 12, and then what the next one was. It's a good question.
Nice.
I like that.
That's pretty special. So, talking about the layout a little bit, talking about the golf course a little bit. Let's say you have someone who's coming to Bandon Dunes for the first time, to play it, right? Let's just throw a name out there. Let's say their name's Ted, right?
Or Teddy.
What advice would you give to a golfer who's coming there for the first time? I mean, you told a little story about, you may want to show up with some layers, right? But
yeah, layers are good.
Maybe some advice you'd give to a first time Bandon Dunes golfer.
Yeah, I think a great way to go is taking a links lesson with our director of instruction, Grant Rogers. The links lesson actually just came from there, and essentially teaches you how to play the link shots ones you're going to be faced with. Because a lot of times every course we play anywhere else in the U.S., you're hitting the ball high, landing it soft, and spinning. We don't use those words very often. It's low, bounce, and roll out. So it's unique because we're so used to hitting certain types of shots on parking courses, but out here the link shots, it's all about keeping the ball low under the wind, rolling the ball up, using different clubs. So coming out, we'll kind of show you how to hit those shots, so you're kind of prepared right out of the gates. Because in the end, you end up playing those shots because you're faced with them. But you might be at the end of your stay, and you might not be able to utilize them. So I'd always say, come out, take a links lesson, and get some good instruction. And then the other one would be if you're playing 36 holes, change your socks and shoes. Go with a different pair. You're even if you went from a really comfortable pair to a not a comfortable pair, your feet will be happy. It makes a huge difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
That's John Wooden advice right there. He used to.
I won't show you how to lace up the shoes, but the correct way. But changing them is good.
Yeah, that was his first the first practice every year. He would tell his players how to put on your socks and shoes. So at the second half of the game, when the other players' feet are getting tired, the UCLA feet were great. So there you go. You've heard it here first. The key to 36 holes of Bandon Dunes: change your socks and shoes. So there's got to be, Jake. There's got to be so many memorable moments that you've seen and experienced when you were there. Can you share one of those with us? Maybe it was just a unforgettable moment. Maybe it was a special group, something you witnessed at Bandon Dunes that our listeners would love to hear about.
Yeah, I think being able to experience the golf with people that you enjoy being around, even if you've been out here a few times and then you bring somebody else out there, being able to share that with them as the wow moments, you kind of know where they're going to really enjoy it. Probably my favorite is having family out and we'll go play, let's say, the Preserve. I had my dad, brother, sister-in-law, nephews, and we're all out here playing the Preserve, and got on hole number 2 out there, and my brother pulls out a camera and videotapes everybody's shots, and I got up there and hit my pitching wedge from 125 and for a hole-in-one, and
nice.
So I got it on film, so that was pretty special to be able to share that with them and then get out there and have it on film. So that's kind of probably my number one memory.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kind of pops up out here for me. Yeah.
So was he a true cameraman? Did he keep it steady when it went in and everybody was cheering, or was the camera going all the time?
He was really, really good. Yeah, never moved, and it was very professional. So definitely.
Wow, that's pretty.
If the golf thing doesn't work out, you could definitely cameraman would be the next thing. So.
So what number hole-in-one is that for you? How many have you had?
That was number 4. So
wow.
Yeah, all the other ones were in competition. That one was just not in competition for fun. So been lucky.
That's great. Well, in competition, the hardest shot after that is the next tee shot, right? You're so excited, you just made hole.
Yeah, you get your heart rate back
down.
down.
Together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that happened to me at a mass amateur. I made my first hole-in-one, and said to the guys in the group, I said, guys, I've never made one. I'm like taking a selfie of myself, taking it out of the hole. Like, and they're like, what is this guy doing? I'm like, my dad never had one. It's my first one. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So obviously you've been fortunate to play some amazing golf courses. You get to, you're at an amazing golf course. I was looking at the rankings. So Bandon Dunes has been ranked since 2001. It looks like in 2005 and 6 and 11 and 12 it was ranked number 28. Previous ranking, I think last year it was 36. This year it's ranked on the Golf Digest top 100 number 37. It's also ranked number 7, the greatest public golf courses. That's pretty awesome. But not only that, but think about the fact that 4 of the top 100 golf courses are right there, right at the resort. I mean, that's remarkable, to be honest with you. That's, do you have to pinch yourself? Like we're literally at a resort with 4 top 100 golf courses.
Yeah. There's so many different places that have multiple courses where they might have 1 or 2 that are stand out and special and high on the rankings. The other ones might just be not as but out here it's pretty neat that you have all 4 of them. If you go to any one of them, you're playing a course that's hosted a USGA event and championship course. So no matter what you do, where you go, some players will come out and say, I have one round to play. Where should I play? And it's like, any of them are going to be fantastic. So that's kind of the neat thing is you get to, no matter where you go, you're going to enjoy it.
And I'm sure the other 2 aren't too shabby either. 6 great golf courses.
Yeah, and then the Sheep Ranch will be. I'm sure it'll start moving up the ranks here as the years kind of go on, and in the Preserve, fun course, one of the best par 3s that you'll ever be around, and get so many comments. You can't. No matter what you do, and then you go over to the Punch Bowl, even just spend some time out there if you not making these swings. And there's always something to do out here. It never gets dull.
And it's not easy to get to, right? So look, I'm coming from Boston, and I've got really two options, right? I can fly into San Francisco and take a flight to North Bend, or I could fly into Portland and drive a couple hours.
Yeah, a few options. I've actually made that trip from here to Boston, so I kind of know that we're in. So you could go to, in the summers, we've got the Denver flight that'll fly in, and there's also a San Francisco flight can come up to North Bend. You can fly into Eugene. Some players will fly into Portland and drive down. Portland, you're about 4.5 hours, 2.5 from Eugene, and about 45 minutes in North Bend. So some good options and some different connecting spots to get in. But the great thing is, once it might take you the day to get here, but once you're here, you can park a car in one spot and never have to worry about anything. You just take shuttles everywhere you want to go. Or
you could take an RV like
Teddy, right? There you go. That's a fun trip.
4 of the courses that will welcome an RV coming in. There's not many.
Yeah, they're not going to make you park in. They're not going to make you park in Eugene.
Walk it, yeah.
So I'm a resort guest. I show up. I'm planning on being there for 4 days. So obviously we know about the golf courses, how spectacular they are, but talk to us real quick about what you said. You don't have to leave you don't have to get back into your car. You're there for the stay. Just talk to us about what there is to do.
Yeah. So you could, let's say, you park your car, you check into the hotel. We got great hotel rooms. Everything's really in one close area. It's all in kind of walking distance for a lot of things. The shuttle system is great that you just go to, guest services, call guest services. They'll come and pick you up, take you from the hotel to the range, the courses, anything like that. So great service there. And they're some of the best team members around. And their restaurants are fantastic. I've eaten at every one of them, different meals, and I've never had anything that was kind of like, that was okay. They've all just, the great, spectacular. Even after work, I'll go and do a takeout there on my own just because it's just great food. So from the food to the shuttle service, the golf, Punch bowl, like I talked about, going out there, spending some time. If you're not looking to walk and play more golf, but you still want to be doing something, punch bowl is fantastic. The bunker bar downstairs, you got pool, you got great card tables, you got some drinks there. You can kind of spend some time. So some good options, and we've got other things like some night golf out here that will take players out and do some fun things like that. But so there's always something at the practice center, 52 acres. You can practice all day there. Big putting greens, 2 different ranges. Shorties, another good example. Shorties is our par 3, 9-hole par 3 course. That's you just go out there and play away in the afternoons, Thursday through Sunday. And you can always just continue to do more and more out here when it comes around with golf.
Well, Teddy, this place sounds awful, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well,
it's everything I love. It's everything I love.
I got to talk to Michael Chupka, your communications director, and for the world to know, thank you, Michael, for everything that you did helping us put this together. But I talking to him this morning, I said, looking at the list, I'm just looking at the biggest state, one of the biggest states is Texas. Now, think of all the golf courses in Texas that are, there's not a blade of grass out of place. They're perfect. They're super private, unbelievable golf courses. And of all those hundreds of golf courses in that one state, there's only 2 that are on the top 100. Yeah. You literally have 6 courses and 4 of them are all in one location.
Yeah.
It's just in one town. Mm-hmm. Forget about one state. It's got to be the greatest golf resort on the planet. Got to be certainly in our country. Mm-hmm. I can't thank you enough for, your willingness to spend a little time with us. I mean, folks, we just had Jake for, nearly 40 minutes. And that is not an easy thing to do with a head professional at a top 100 course. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your time and sharing a little bit about, your past history and, what happened, how you got hooked up at Bandon Dunes and, your sage wisdom as to, how to play the course when we do come through. And I'm really looking forward to playing with you, Jake. And I'm going to be working on putting together another 2 players for us to play, and can't wait until 2023. And I'm so grateful I get to start the journey with you guys.
Yeah, and I was in talking to you the last couple of times. Looking forward to it as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'd be fun to experience that with you for the first time getting out there and show you all those wow moments. And we'll hit some fun shots, and it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I know you'll have a great time.
Thanks so much, Jake. Really appreciate your time. Mike, you got anything else?
No, Jake, thanks very much. It's been really enjoyable experience to get to know you, and appreciate your time, and look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah. Thank you too, guys. And really appreciate it. And it was great to meet you.
Likewise. God bless. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks, Jake. Take care. Well, I'll tell you, that was amazing. Jake is the consummate professional. That was just awesome. But so who do we have up next?
Well, we just talked a little bit about Bandon Dunes. What we're going to talk about next is Bandon Trails. And this Bandon Trails golf course, I'll just read right off of their website. It says, when Bill Corr and Ben Crenshaw's began working on the sand to uncover their 3rd course, they faced the challenge of following Bandon Dunes and Pacific Dunes. Opened in 2005, Bandon Trails begins atop a massive sand dune, then quickly opens into a sprawling meadow. The routing then works higher into the coastal forest before finally returning to finish in the dunes. The course is enjoyable to walk and is a constant reminder of how the game was originally created among inland rolling dunes with dramatic ocean vistas. The golf course was originally founded in 2005 by Bill Corr and Ben Crenshaw as the designers. The course par is 71. It tips out at 67.88 in yardage with a 73.6 rating and a 130 slope. The course record is held by Wilson Furr. He fired a 62 in stroke play during the U.S. Amateur, which that's a lot of pressure to fire a 62. The ceremonial first tee shot was by the same group, the Peters family, like we had talked about with the Bandon Dunes golf course and Jake. The barbers, the local barbers in town, they're a very lucky group and a lucky family, and maybe I might be able to get one of them to join to play with me when I make my run. The logo of Bandon Trails is the butterfly Western tiger swallow tail, and it's a beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful butterfly, yellow and black. And then coming up, for future tournaments, you've got the 22 U.S. Junior Amateur that's going to be played there this year, and then in 25 the U.S. Women's Amateur, and then 2029 the Walker Cup. One thing that I asked Ryan before we got on the phone, a little history. At number 14 at Bandon Trails, at the very top of the ridge, that's the first time that Shorty, who was the caretaker of the property years ago, he's the one that showed Mr. Kaiser the whole property, and that happened at 14 at Bandon Trails. So without further ado, let's bring on our second guest, Mr. Ryan Nielson, who is the head PGA professional at Bandon Trails. How you doing this morning, Ryan?
Doing well. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for having me on. It's definitely an honor to be a part of your journey, talk about something I'm passionate about, and see if I can add a little bit to the podcast.
We're excited. We're excited to have you.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it, Ryan. Tell us about your first job in the golf business. Where and what's the story behind it? Were you a caddy? Were you in the bag room? What happened?
I grew up in Idaho as well. Something that Jake and I have in common. I grew up playing a 9-hole country club, kind of rural, blue collar place to grow up and play.
My kind of place.
Yep, absolutely. Started definitely picking the range, bag boy, bag room, limited carts because a lot of them were personal. So they did their own cleaning, but we did have some for rent. So got my first taste of the golf industry and loved it. Definitely loved interacting with the members, getting to know them a little bit more as I progressed, as my game started getting better as I started at 14. Came to golf late. Played baseball up until that point. But I wanted a sport that I could play on my own and found that in golf. And from there, then I moved into the pro shop, getting to know a lot more of the members, interacting with them. So definitely saw that I had a passion in that. And so definitely was a spark to say, hey, I want to be a PGA golf professional. And definitely looked up to the PGA professional, Roger Garner, who was at the facility at the time. And then I didn't actually come home from college, and I started working agronomy. And then after that in the summers. So I kind of got a taste of every aspect of the golf industry, which gave me a lot more appreciation for those that are working on the course. So
did you play when you were in college?
I did. Yep. Played collegiately at Idaho State for 4 years. Played a lot of the tournaments against Jake. Boise State always beat us. But in the eastern side of the state,
Boise State the powerhouse in your neck of the woods?
It was, absolutely, yeah. A couple PGA Tour players have Boise State on their resume. So it wasn't fair. We were just fortunate, honestly, to be able to be in the same tournament and getting away from the winters in Pocatello. And we're going to go to Arizona. We're going to go to California. So we were fortunate. That's the way we look at it. If we had a couple of good scores, you know, it was just added bonus, to tell you the truth.
Did you once you did turn professional? Did you get to play in any sectionals or try to make it on tour? Any mini tours, anything like that?
I did try. That was always something that I was had in the back of my mind that I wanted to give it a go. So I was fortunate enough to try to get some money raised up. I taught a lot of lessons after to repay those that gave me a leg up. So played the Dakotas tour for a couple summers and played every state open that I could possibly play and regionally as much as I could. Had some success, played some decent rounds, but I realized quickly that you shoot 74, 72, 72, 75, 70. It wasn't good enough. And my dad was a realist, so he said, you know, time to get a job.
Yeah, that's everybody I know, I went through it. Everybody kind of goes through it in the golf business where those guys are so different. Like it sounds different coming off the club. The flight ball's different. They just stick out. And I remember, like, you know, and Mike, in our neck of the woods, it was, you know, Jimmy Driscoll, you know, James Driscoll, like watching him play. It was just like, you know, I'm a good player. I can't do what he does.
Right.
But once you kind of realized that, was there, you know, a PGA professional that kind of, you know, put his arm around your shoulder and said, "Hey man, there's a career here." You know, like was there anyone that influenced you to get into the golf business?
I would say definitely. Yeah. Roger Garner, the consummate professional there in Idaho at that small 9-hole country club. He, you know, gave me kind of some tools that I definitely still use. Didn't really know a lot of other golf professionals in the area, so I didn't kind of lean on them. Once I got into the PGA program, when I got my first position after graduating, then that opened up a lot more avenues to learn from a gentleman like Jake or somebody that he learned from in Idaho Falls, and Ron Rawls. He mentioned Ron Rawls. Guys like that, you know, that are invaluable. The information they have, the education, the experience, the expertise, you know, so you just pick everybody's brain. You kind of find little bits and then you kind of have your own passion and you just kind of run with that. So,
and how did that all transpire, you know, all that insider knowledge and then getting into the golf business? How did you get to the head professional job at Bandon Trails? What's the story behind that?
I worked at the previous golf course in 2008, started in 2008, and I just finished last October. So 13 years at a pretty high level golf facility in Boise, had 36 holes. We were operating close to 70,000 rounds.
Wow.
High volume. Put in a lot of time. I mean, we're talking hundreds of tournaments, you know, member rounds, ladies rounds. So I definitely learned on the go. I mean, I didn't, another thing is that my head professional that hired me, he didn't tell me he was going to resign a year later. So I really had nobody to work under. So I kind of did it all on my own. Definitely had mentors to help out, but at my own facility, it was my show. So, I was able to then just, you know, find my own path. And, you know, I felt like I've had the experience that led me here. I also knew a few people that helped me get my foot in the door here at Bandon. I had been here as a guest multiple times, so my experience is a little bit different than some of the people that you may be speaking to. So, you know, because I have different opinions of things of how when I first got here as a guest and fell in love with this place, never really thought I would possibly work here, to tell you the truth. And it kind of, out of the blue, there was an opportunity. So I came out here in September, did some interviews, really thought that this was the place for me. Felt like my career in Idaho was kind of getting a little stagnant. Like there really wasn't advancement. And, you know, putting Bandon Dunes on your resume is the ultimate game changer. So I made the choice to pursue it a little bit more prevalently, and here I am. So I'm fortunate, and I really wanted world-class leadership. I wanted to play the world-class golf courses that we have here at the resort. That was one of my big determining factors, but also being around the staff that I had, you know, grown to admire as a guest. So,
yeah, I'll say it again. I was blown away by how everyone was in a good mood. I mean, what's in the water around here is what I was thinking. Like, you know, it's not, you know, it's not every time you go to any company, let alone a golf course, you know, somebody's always having a bad day, or, you know, and I've never experienced that in the times that I've been there. It just seemed like everyone was thrilled to be at work, which is not a common thing these days. So, your comment about the staff is, I'm on the same page with you. What is your favorite part about the job of being the head pro at Bandon Trails?
Being at my best every day. It's what the guests expect. So I can, you know, every person, whatever industry you're in, wants to do the best job they can, right? You want to be the best at anything. So, getting to come to work every single day, knowing that I'm going to have that smile on my face and to have that interaction with guests. And it is the people that in the golf industry that, you know, that is dear to my heart. It's the relationships that I've built. And here at the guests, the interactions, or here at the resort, the interactions with the guests are something I cherish and look forward to every day, because they're here to have a great experience, but they're also here to play some of the courses that I loved when I was a guest. So I can share a little bit of my, you know, some of the backstory, or a little bit of tidbit, or some information I've picked up now that after working here for 3 months, to kind of make their experience that much more enjoyable.
For a guy like me that's coming through the beginning of January, I've got tee times, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. What advice would you give, you know, to a guy like me that's going to be playing the course for the first time?
I would try to have this is for me, I would try to have an afternoon tee time on Bandon. Seeing the last few holes at Bandon when the sun's going down, it just is absolutely breathtaking. It's spectacular views, to where it's almost having a little bit of a sunset. That's kind of what I've heard when I was a guest, and so I kind of made that happen. And it is something that you can't explain. So, and if it's windy, try to play trails. You get a little bit more block from the elements through the forest. So those are the two things that I would say. But also, you know, explore the rest of the resort. Like Jake had mentioned, we also have world-class beach walking paths. We have the labyrinth that a lot of guests maybe can't find. So that's something that you can kind of explore on your own, and, you know, maybe kind of experience something besides golf, since you've just maybe played 36 holes in one day and you're kind of beat. You don't want to go back out.
Hey, Ryan, real quick. What's the weather like in January when Teddy is going to be playing? What can he expect? Do you guys ever get snow on the coast at all? Or?
I was told to bring a rain suit.
January was spectacular. I would say that January usually rains on average 17, 18 days out of the month. This year was abnormally different than that. We probably had maybe 1 day of rain in the month of January this year. Wow. So it was spectacular. I truly believe that January is the best month to come. And when I would bring my groups from Boise, I would always choose January. So that's funny that you're coming at a prime time. It can be 60 degrees and sunny, and you're being shorts and a t-shirt. No joke.
But Jake also said it could be 35 and rain going sideways.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely have gotten that as well. But I think that's I sign up for that, and I actually look forward to the elements. It makes you realize that you're playing coastal links golf,
And I'm of the same opinion, because, the mission, or my drive for next year, is to try to play all 100 in less than 365 days. So I've got to play a golf course every 3.65 days. And I don't have the luxury of saying, it's, kind of spitting right now. Let's wait until tomorrow. I'm just going to have to put that rain suit on and go out there and brave the elements. And I'm actually looking forward to those
Absolutely.
rounds, because, sometimes you get lucky and, hey, he's a mutter.
I actually am a mudder. I love playing golf in the rain.
Yeah. So I can't wait. I can't wait to get to tee it up with you. And I don't know who the other two in the group will be, but I'm sure we'll find guys that will have a lot of fun. And
absolutely.
Can you share a memorable or special moment or some kind of event that you witnessed that you'll never forget as your time as the head pro? And if there isn't a moment, what about when you were just playing the course, all the times that you've played it?
Definitely, experiencing this place with my dad was definitely probably the most memorable for the first time for both of us. So that's something that I will always cherish. But in the 3 months, I definitely haven't experienced a lot. I haven't witnessed a lot of memorable experiences. But I would say that the U.S. Junior Amateur being hosted at Bandon Trails is definitely going to rank high on the list. And I'm hopefully going to experience some other things down the road, definitely for the long term.
I can't thank you enough for, taking the time and, telling us a little bit about your experience, a little bit about your playing career, and, some advice that you could, offer to someone playing the course for the first time. So, like I said, I'm so psyched that I get to start the adventure at your facility, and really looking forward to getting to play 18 with you. And I can't thank you enough for joining us today. Mike, do you have anything you want to ask Ryan before we sign off?
Well, the only thing we failed to mention was the ranking. The current ranking of Bandon Trails is number 67 on the list, and it looks like it jumped into the rankings and has been there since 2009, and the highest ranking was in 2011, 2012 at number 63, but last year it was at number 65. So it's going up on the list two spots this year. So
awesome!
It sounds pretty amazing.
It is pretty special.
Pretty fortunate.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, thank you so very much for joining. Great to meet you, and love to hear love to hear your story, and best of luck there. I hope you have a long, successful career.
I appreciate that very much. Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure. Looking forward to being a part of this, and also kind of getting to tap into your journey and seeing more about it as you progress through the top 100.
God bless you, Ryan. Thank you so
much.
Thanks for your time, and thanks
My
for
pleasure.
joining us. And I'll be in touch.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much, both of you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, Ryan. We'll see you.
Teddy, we could not have asked for two better guests to start this journey with. I mean, to talk to Ryan and talk to Jake. Great job getting those two guys on for the first episode. Well done.
We're on a mission for God. There's all sorts of miraculous things that have happened along this journey so far, and I hope that they continue to happen. So it was great, getting to know these two golf courses a little bit, Bandon Dunes and Bandon Trails. So that's it for this episode. We had a really, really interesting start with with Cory, the course rater from Golf Digest, and talking with Jake at Bandon Dunes and Ryan at Bandon Trails. Next week, we have two more head professionals for you. We have Jason Poole from Old McDonald, and we have Michael O'Toole from Pacific Dunes. And we're looking forward to inviting them next week. We hope that you join us next week as well. And remember, everything will be housed at luckiestgolferonearth.com. So, check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the social media places. And can't wait to continue this journey, and looking forward to talking with you again, Mike, next week. And that's it for me. Do you have any parting words of wisdom, Michael?
No parting words of wisdom. It was just a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to next week talking to our next guest. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Really appreciate your time. Be sure to head to luckiestgolferonearth.com. Be sure to subscribe for every episode.
Thanks. God bless, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast. Please visit our website at luckiestgolferonearth.com and join our email list for all the latest exclusive updates and opportunities. We are working on a lot of fun surprises, and email subscribers will be the first to know. Have a great week, everyone, and may God bless all of you.